All right, everybody, we're here. We're a special edition of Gym Crashers. I'm here with the guys today. I got my man Miguel over here to my right, and of course, Dondo over here to my left. And we're at Affliction Sub Fighter MMA. We got Tracy Hess, who's going to be doing some jiu-jitsu class over there, as well as Max Demian, who's the assistant coach. But we've already got a little interview with them later, so let's go take a look.
Check it out.
All right, we're here with Max at Affliction Gym here in Seal Beach. How you doing today, Max?
How's it going?
Wonderful. Max has a pretty colorful story, man. I've ran into him at different events, whether it be pro wrestling, MMA, jiu-jitsu. He's got all kinds of different things to talk about, and I had to hear more. So it leads me to ask you, I mean, what got you started into jiu-jitsu and MMA?
Jiu-jitsu and MMA, it's a mix of like there's two different points. I would say I got into MMA like as a fan back in '94 when the UFC 1 VHS came out. Like video stores, there was no like where would you put that, and so they put it in the pro wrestling section. And when I was a kid, on the weekends, my mom would take me to the dollar video store, and I got like 5 wrestling videos, and that would last us 15 hours of entertainment. It would last me the whole weekend, you know. And so they put the very first UFC VHS in the wrestling section, and that was like I saw this one I hadn't seen before, and so I rented it. I remember seeing like the skinny Brazilian dude. It was that voice was beating up everybody. And back then I was like I'm not that big now, but compared to me then,
sure,
like I got some weight on me. Yeah, I was a skinny small kid. So when I saw that, I became a fan because I was. It's like one of the moments people realize like it's not just big dudes that are the best, you know?
I think that was their intention. They picked Hoist instead of Hickson for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. It was better marketing.
Yep.
And then it was when I was like 18, 2003 is when I started actually training. I started at this Polynesian Kempo school, and the instructor there, he was a Japanese Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he was training, I forgot where, this is a long time ago, but he was training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu also. You know, he liked his traditional costumes and whatnot, but he wanted the sparring and everything to be like MMA.
Yeah, he was smart.
Yeah, he liked the traditional martial arts, but he understood what you need to do for actual application, you know, as opposed to being like one of these traditional martial arts nerds that thinks they can fight or they've been told that they can fight and then they get beat up because they can't really fight, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
And so
fixed positions, all those traditions had to be broken, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the beauty of MMA.
Yeah.
Blending together what works.
Exactly. And then so I started with them in 2003, and I did 4 tournaments, 2 no limits tournaments and 2 World Grappling Games on the mat tournaments. And through those, I had met a bunch of people from Apex, and around that after the 4th tournament, I decided that jiu-jitsu was what I wanted to do. I liked it more, you know. And so in 2005, I made the switch to Apex Jiu-Jitsu.
Apex was in Laguna Hills?
Yeah, at that time it was in Mission Viejo.
Okay.
It was at this place called Card Fit. It was like an actual fitness gym, and there was this like upstairs area that looked over on the racquetball courts, and then looked over on it was sketchy because the wall was like, I don't know, 4 feet high, so you had to watch when you're wrestling. You could fall down, you know, you could fall down to the first story.
Yeah.
You know? And every once in a while a racquetball would come flying up. But
unique environment.
Yeah, but it was our gym. We were there for years, and yeah, it was Cardio Fit Mission Viejo for like the first year that I was there, and then they moved to a different spot in Mission Viejo where we got our own gym.
Gotta love that.
Yeah, and that was Apex is really the start of like training as I know it now. You know,
yeah.
Like the Kempo school is cool and all, and it kind of got me the intro. But Apex was like where I really started understanding the martial art.
You put the ideas together.
Yeah.
Was that with Jeremy Williams?
Yeah, Jeremy Williams. Okay. Yeah, I was with him from 2005 to 2007 until he was gone.
Yeah. Sad to see that, but yeah, absolutely. And then from that point, it morphed, and some different things happened, and Sub Fighter came to be in Laguna Hills. Did you finish up with them, or did you move on to the other Sub Fighter in Lakewood?
So at that time, yeah, because Sub Fighter in Lakewood, it's been around as long as Apex was around. Tracy and Jeremy were both under Chris Brandon. They opened their own schools, and Apex closed, I actually started teaching at No Limits.
Oh, okay.
Just because I
a
knew.
totally different direction than I thought, but that's when No Limits probably first started.
That was when they were off Barranca and Irvine. They had this giant facility.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd known them because I'd done No Limits tournaments. Jeremy was good friends. Jeremy and my other coach Rick were good friends with Giuliano, so I knew Giuliano, I knew Viva. And so I was invited there. They welcomed me with open arms. And it was easier for me too because I lived in Huntington and it was closer than Laguna or
Halfway, man.
you know. And so I just go to Irvine instead. It was a short time, and so I started teaching there for the next couple of years.
Yeah, that was a pretty lively place, and I think that even morphed into something else eventually.
Yeah, then they split off into Team Oyama and Total MMA, and then eventually, Bao ended up splitting off and started Rounders.
Sure, there was places popping up everywhere.
Yeah.
But you mentioned that you moved on to starting your own place in Guam. Was that after the time period there in Irvine?
So, yeah, I was with No Limits for a couple of years. They kind of, I remember they had when No Limits had their original split from Colin.
Yeah.
That's around the time that I wasn't teaching there anymore. I was doing other things. I was just more training for myself again, not teaching as much.
Sure.
And
sometimes we need that, man. You gotta stay in the game. Sometimes you get bored of one thing, you gotta do another.
Yeah. And so, because of an offer from when I'd been to Guam, just as a coach or a training partner for somebody, I had a pending offer for me to go teach there. And so, that's cool. Yeah, I went there and started teaching at this gym called Spike 22. And that lasted a few months, and things fell through on the agreement for me to be there. And so, that's when I started teaching my own school called Barragata Submission Center in Barragata. And that's the one that was like the half gym, half youth outreach program.
That's a pretty cool name, though. I like it.
Yeah. Actually, all the kids there thought of it. It was for them.
But yeah, Barragata, that's a small town in the middle of the ocean, and here you are teaching kids, local neighborhood kids, islanders, how to handle themselves. They're becoming men, and they know how to defend themselves.
It was definitely one of my more satisfying times teaching because the like I said, the youth outreach program was set up so like Barragata on Guam is one of the towns or villages that are not as people don't have as much money as some of the other villages.
I can only imagine. Limited resources.
And so that leads to kids get themselves in trouble.
We all do, right?
And so that's when we started the youth outreach program. That kids, pretty much anyone up to 21, because even then 21 you might be an adult, but you could use a mentor a lot of the time.
There's a lot of growing still to be done at 21. We all know. Come on.
So everyone from Barragata was allowed to train there as long as they stayed out of trouble.
That's very cool.
Like if they got in trouble, they got the boot. We make sure I convinced them to love jiu-jitsu and training more than they love getting in trouble.
It doesn't take much convincing once you start doing it, as we know, but it's a great outlet to steer kids towards something productive, a discipline, and a reason to wake up,
Even without me there, a lot of them kept going. Like with me there, it's probably had over a dozen competitors. We got a few fighters when I was there, and probably another half dozen have fought since I left. They stayed with it and became fighters. And so it was at the time, that's probably one of my more satisfying times as a coach. Yeah. I mean, I have now too, because we got guys who have finally made it to bigger shows like Bellator, and that feels awesome.
Oh yeah, watching your teammates fight, absolutely.
So that's basically how Guam worked out.
Yeah, no. Now you're back, and we're here at Affliction, which is a great facility. I mean, I just love it.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Coming up from I wouldn't say dingy, but I'd say smaller gyms that, like I said,
we pay our dues elsewhere, right? And then one day everything gets really nice.
Yeah, a place where the whole gym isn't even the size of our mat space here. Coming in a place like that where it's just it's awesome that all this time later, to have a facility like this, there's only a handful of these. You got this. Maybe go to Ruka. Yeah. And then No Limits doesn't exist anymore. Isn't Reigns done? Yeah, Reigns done. All the facilities like this.
A bunch of UFCs
really
that look like this,
Yeah, they don't really exist that much anymore. And so to have this, we're lucky.
You guys are set up very well. We're going to conduct class tonight. Are you going to be teaching jiu-jitsu?
Tracy's going to be teaching. I'm the assistant coach. So
perfect.
It's I walk around and help who needs help. I can tell you the one thing. I've been a head coach and I've been an assistant coach, and for me personally, I really like being an assistant coach. Yeah. It's like when you've drilled a move 10,000 times, you're a black belt at that move. And when I see people that are 5 in, I'm like, you got 9,995 to go. Why are you taking breaks already?
With all the chatter, get moving. You're absolutely right. Cool. Well, it looks like we're going to move on to class. I really appreciate the interview. It was awesome talking to you, Max.
Yeah, almost.
Look forward to training with you.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
All right, everybody, we're here. We're back at Gym Crashers. Well, we'll say Gym Crashers / Full Contact Fanatics. Still here at the Affliction Gym. Just got finished with the Jiu-Jitsu class with Tracy Hess, and got my man Josh over here. We're going to talk to him in a second about how it was to actually get in there and roll. And of course, got my man over here, Dondo. So real quick, we'll go to Dondo. Dondo, got a chance to get in there and kind of check out the Tracy Hess Jiu-Jitsu class. Real quick, just give us a quick breakdown of what you thought about it.
It was really cool. He's pretty intricate with all of his training. He walked us through some side control movements, some Kimuras, some counters, and it's really good, solid base stuff.
And real quick before we talk to our man Josh here, give us a quick little breakdown of what you think. Me personally, I think it's a little bit more than he thought it was going to be, but it didn't seem, once we got through the calisthenics and stuff like that, it didn't seem to be too bad as far as the technique went.
Technique was good, yeah. It's a workout beforehand. We all got to get loose, prevent injuries that way. Build you up as you start rolling. You also want to have good cardio, so all that's important.
Right.
But when we got down there to actually get some technique and to get some drilling going, it was solid.
Because personally, I think he has the frame for it. Because when you were working on the arm bars, just to switching back and forth to do the arms, he's got the long legs, he's got the long limbs. So I think maybe if he keeps continuing and keeps training, we might possibly have something here. Would you agree?
I absolutely think that, yeah. If we're going to talk about what Josh brings to the table, once the knowledge is applied, he's a dangerous man.
Well, it's his first day, so what's the saying? Rome wasn't built in a day.
It certainly wasn't.
So we'll keep going. But with that being said, we'll talk to the man Josh himself. Josh, real quick, let me just take you through what I saw, and then you can kind of tell us what it was for you. It seemed like, everybody starts off the same. They want to run, they want to do some drills. They did some sprawls, and maybe about 5 at a time towards the end. Yep. Right when we got into the sprawls, that's when it started to kick in, the cardio and stuff like that. So from that point, take us on from there.
Yeah, for sure. I grew up playing basketball, and basketball cardio and any type of MMA cardio are two totally different leagues. I basically quit halfway through the sprawls. I didn't finish it. It's as simple as that. It's a different kind of cardio. To be here, you need to have some type of gas tank. Unfortunately, I just didn't have it.
Did you before you, because you knew this was going to come about, I don't know how much time you had before they actually told you, did you take that into consideration and maybe start trying to do a little bit of training before you came, or you just came in cold?
I want to come in cold. That's my whole plan for the show. That's the whole plan of us as a group. I'm everybody on the couch.
Right.
So if I'm cold,
just coming in straight.
You can't do any worse than I am. That's basically how it is.
Well, for the people listening to us, that's how it started. They started everybody the same, doing a little running around, doing a little stretching at the beginning, and also doing some sprawls like we talked about before. Then we got into some techniques. Luckily for you, you got to kind of roll with Dondo and Miguel, which is kind of a little bit easier because it's kind of somebody that you're familiar with. Mm-hmm. So take us through that. Like we said before, it seemed like you got the body type for it, long legs, where you could actually turn, you can get the arm and lock it in. Did you please take away from that little bit of positivity?
Yeah, I was born with a lanky body. What can I say? I mean, that's the best I got for you. That being said, you can't come in here going 100%. It's called rolling for a reason, which is something I didn't catch till the very end of the session. We rolled, and I basically try to fight for my life, which is not what we want to do because you're not in any danger here whatsoever, which is something that I need to, and anybody else who's a newcomer needs to drill into their head. You're not going to die. You're not going to get your arm ripped off. So you need to come in here wanting to learn and going slow. I was told by multiple different people today that you need to breathe through and you need to relax. It's definitely, breathing does help for sure, and you're not going to get hurt here.
Yeah, being tense is a danger to yourself. Stay loose, stay fluid, and roll.
Yeah, so did you actually get a chance to roll live, or you just did the techniques and you kind of observed?
We rolled live. I think I rolled 2 rounds. I maxed out then.
How was that?
Like I said before, I have no gas tank, but during the rolling it was great. At the point I'm at right now is I don't know what I'm doing. So they say live roll, and I'm like,
what does that mean?
Exactly. Like, it's simply like, well, I kind of know side control. I can do that, and I know how to grab your wrist, kind of. I can grab my own wrist, and it basically just goes off that.
Ready? Roll. Go.
I don't even really know what to do. To be honest with you.
Just go. Wherever I go, you try to follow me.
Okay. Yeah. After that, I had a great time doing it. Being said, I'm not very good at it.
Just don't get in front of yourself. Just take it easy. Go through each technique one step at a time. Breathe. Work your way through it. Understand where to position your body to make things a little easier. When you have so much, he's 7 feet tall. It's a lot to deal with. So just keep it in tight. Make sure you have your handles. Work your way through.
I think now that he got his feet wet, kind of knows what to expect. Maybe when we get to the next dojo, he'll be able to kind of take a little bit from here and apply it to there. Now, the other question I have, it was all no gi today. Now, even for me, the gi is a totally different subject. I can hang with anybody with no gi. Put that gi on me, get choked out by an 8-year-old girl. You think maybe the next one we should get him in the gi and so he gets both roles? Because to me, it seems like if he learns without the gi and goes into the gi, it's going to be a totally different world. So I think maybe we should get him in the gi and kind of do both.
It's important.
Right, and switch him off.
Yeah. No, jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. Working with the gi, you have a toolbox.
Right.
And you can work with the toolbox. You can get things done. Someone takes your toolbox away, you're going to have to figure out what you're going to do without this. But jiu-jitsu is jiu-jitsu. But
there's so much to grab when you got that gi. It's a totally different ballgame.
Absolutely.
Well, we look forward. We look forward to seeing him progress as far as gi and no gi.
Always exciting.
Hey, for the people out there, Conquer Fight gear, Lucky Gi on the mat. Guy needs a gi. Before we get out of here, just give us one thing that you're going to take from this class and go home, let it marinate, and apply it to the next class.
Yeah, simply just taking your time and concentrating on you won't get hurt here. Worst case scenario is you tap. I don't have enough fingers to count how many times I tapped today.
Right.
So
and there's no shame in tapping.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So that being said,
fight another day.
Exactly.
You learning and concentrating on techniques and not skipping steps is more important than you. More important than you giving it your all to get out of it. Nothing's gonna happen.
But all in all, had a pretty good time.
Great time, yeah. My gas tank's still small, needs to get bigger, but that's my fault.
It's all relative. You know, you can run, you can swim, you can bike, you can do anything you want. But if you're not rolling, your cardio is not going to build for rolling.
Right.
Rolling builds.
Yeah, like he said, totally different ballgame, especially coming from basketball.
It's a different type of cardio. It is what it is, right?
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Well, we definitely look forward to checking out Jason as he progresses into the world of jiu-jitsu gi and no gi and succumbs to the jiu-jitsu lifestyle. Would you agree?
Yes.
So for the people listeners, don't forget Gym Crashers and don't forget Full Contact Fighters. We're going to check out the progression of Jason. Make sure you check him out.
You got it, man.
Oh, slide on in here. Oh.
What's up? Josh.
We just got finished talking to Josh about his first day out here actually in Affliction. Talked a little bit about working in the gi and no gi. You did quite a bit today.
Yeah, I did.
Because you haven't been you've been rolling extensively, a lot, or are you just really kind of getting back into it?
Oh, getting back into it. Yeah, I had broken my leg back like around when the summer started. Took a few months to heal it up, and doctors tell you this, stay off this, but. First and foremost, I mean, as far as Josh goes, I know he's a beginner. He's barely starting out.
Yeah, first day.
And and how he said about cardio and this and that. And like Dondo said, you can run, you can swim, you can kayak, you can paddle, whatever. First and foremost, technique. Because when you run out of gas, you run out of juice, you got to rely on that technique. That's what's going to get you through. And second, again, the more you roll, the more your body becomes, I guess, accustomed, if that's the right word, to rolling, full rolling, and vice versa.
Now, let's say we go to Giovanni Varela's next time. That's going to be a totally different ballgame because that's going to be all in the gi. It's more of a judo-based type of jiu-jitsu, so he's just barely scratching the surface.
Oh,
Do you agree?
Oh, there's plenty more where that came from, dude.
It's amazing. It's his first day, but he's going to see as we progress that there's totally different looks, and we haven't even begun to scratch the surface.
Just the tip of the iceberg,
which is in a totally whole different ballgame than without the gi. But it's good that he got to come to Affliction, got to roll with Tracy, got to roll with you guys, so he's a little bit more comfortable, out there. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of which, Lucky Gi hooked it up. Thank you, Lucky Gi. So we're about to take those for a spin in a minute.
MyLuckyGi.com. Now, real quick before we get out of here, actually got to roll with Tracy Hess, who is the head instructor here. Tell us a little bit about that.
Dude, Tracy Hess, that guy has like an extensive wealth of knowledge, and when it comes to rolling, the dude rolls, I mean, smoother than...
I was going to say, when we're talking about that, when we're talking about Josh, he just seemed calm, breathing, and you do one move, and he just counter, and
it's like driving a Cadillac, dude.
Exactly. Check that out. So for the people listening to us and watching us, you're going to be able to see that because they did film a lot of them rolling. So I think it's great. I think it's great that we have Gym Crashers. I think it's great that we have Josh, and we're going to see his progression. I think we got something here. So
I think so.
For the people listening to us and watching us, Gym Crashers, don't forget you can check them out, as well as Full Contact Fanatics every Monday from 8 to 9 o'clock. Got Josh here. He's going to see the progression into the world of jiu-jitsu, and of course, Dondo and McGill. Make sure you check them out on Gym Crashers. Robert, get us out of here. We'll be right back after this. Gym Crashers, everybody. Josh, make sure you check him out. All right, everybody, we're here back with Gym Crashers, and also don't forget /Full Contact Fanatics. Still here at Affliction, pretty much wrapping up over here. Had a full day of training and everything tonight. Got to see a little bit of the jiu-jitsu, got to see a little bit of technique, got to see a little bit of stand-up, and it went really well. But I'm actually sitting directly to my right, the man himself, Tracy Hess. Tracy, how are you, my friend?
Wonderful.
I gotta tell you, man, it's good to see you.
Pleasure.
Been trying to get you on for a long time. We're gonna go back real quick, Dondo. Before we get into
Man's
the
got a lot of
training.
history.
We came and did Affliction over here. Man, it was probably, I'm thinking 3 years ago. We had Fabricio, we had you, we had Michael Bisbing, we had everybody, and it was a full day, just like you usually do. And I tried to get Tracy on, and he's like, you know what, man, I just had a baby girl, and I got to get home. I got to go see her and stuff like that. So before we get into talking about training and stuff like that, because you involved so much. I remember when you and Chris had the gym that was right across from where the Long Beach Town Center was.
Yes.
Is that where you got started?
Yeah, I started in my garage. I built it up to about 20 students, and then I opened that gym in Lakewood.
Yeah, and then it kind of left to you. You were doing training everybody there by yourself, because I guess Chris, is that when he went to Texas?
Yeah, Chris was in Texas, so I was running that one by myself.
So how did all that evolve into you coming over here?
About 2008, I started training the owners of Affliction. We're doing privates with them about 3 days a week, and they decided they want to start putting on events. And they didn't really have anyone in that space, so I came on board to handle the matchmaking and negotiate the contracts with the fighters.
Been here ever since.
Been here ever since.
Yeah, the place is huge too. I gotta tell you, it's kind of nice because you can not only just do your jiu-jitsu, but you have the cage. You can get a feel for the cage with some of the fighters who fight in Bellator and all that. Get a feel for that, as well as the weights. We were talking to Chase Gormley, and we're talking a little bit about that too. So, I actually got a chance to, see everything today. We did a little bit. Had Josh, who was, fresh off the couch, and he was already burnt by the time you guys got finished with the calisthenics. But we talked to him, and he said, even though I was burnt out, and I had a hard time. Once we got to the techniques, it was cool. I was kind of getting into it. I was kind of learning what it was all about. He said he rolled a couple of times, but he really enjoyed the techniques and stuff like that. So for a guy like that, kind of see him in his first day, is that pretty normal, or you think he's got a long way to, I know he's got a long way to go because Rome wasn't built in a day. It was his first day. But for a guy like that, you think it was okay for him this first time?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got a great build.
Right. Yeah, he's long, really long, and can lock those limbs.
He's gonna have a nice triangle. He's gonna have that fun. He has a lot of potential with his body type.
Right.
So he did great the first day. I mean, our warm up is a lot harder than most people's. I want people to be in shape so they can actually compete. The last thing you want to do is, you can have all the technique in the world, if you don't have the cardio to go along with it, it's pretty much useless.
Yeah, it makes sense, especially when we got towards the end, when you were doing, I think 5 sprawls towards the end. That's when I started seeing people starting to fade after that. Exactly. So Dondo actually got a chance to get in there, work some technique,
pushing me,
and they would work a little cross-side position. What would you call it, the tricep? I was gonna call it the ghost escape, but it wasn't, because it was tricep, and you came around to the front.
Sneaky hand underneath.
Yeah.
Sneaky, right out the back door.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that. How was it?
Oh, I love it. The Kimura, it's a tough thing to escape from. Of course, we all know the grab on the inside.
Right.
But Tracy had shown us today is that we give him a little push, we slide the hand underneath, come out the back door, and we're on top.
Right. And
that's where I like to be.
Kind of getting that momentum pushed, and as they were coming back,
taking their momentum, running through the back door, getting back on top.
Right. So we did all that, learned some technique, and then we went live. Josh said, when they said we're going live, I had no idea what that meant. I didn't know it was time to roll.
He knows now.
So I was asking Max too before we went on the air. Do you like to, when you say, okay, we're going to go live, we're going to roll, do you like them to work the techniques that you showed them, or it doesn't matter? Yeah,
we've been focusing on side control. So we were doing a lot of offense on top. This week we're going to be doing a lot more defense. So we start them rolling in that position.
Yeah.
So they're going to be forced to work it no matter what.
Yeah, because they started in cross-side position and worked from there. So if you teach a different technique, you might start in the guard.
Depending what we're working. If we're working triangle escapes, you're going to start in the triangle. If you get out, then you roll live from there. Someone gets submitted, we're going to start right back in that position.
Yeah, awesome. It looked really well. And then he also got a chance to roll with Miguel. And what we took away from that, when Miguel and I were talking, is just, I guess it must come with the experience and all that, because it seemed like, the word I'm looking for is like smooth operator. It seemed like nothing phased him. He just went from one thing to the other. Didn't seem like he was expending much energy at all. Just the technique is there. So it's like, if he does this, I'm going here. And it went really smooth. So it's just got to be second nature, right?
Yeah, after 20 years.
The more 20 years?
I started in '96 at the Gracie Academy in Torrance.
That's right.
And then I switched when Chris opened his gym. I met him, and I started with him in the '97.
Right. So what about your kids in particular? They want to do some jiu-jitsu? They want to...
My daughter started jiu-jitsu when she turned 5. She had her first tournament, did her first match, and loved it.
That's very cool.
And yeah, in the beginning, she wanted nothing to do with it. Now, I said, okay, it's fine, do whatever you want to do. And then she started asking about it. Now she trains 3 days a week and loves it.
Now, do you get more enjoyment out of when you were training and you were competing and stuff like that? I know you get a lot of enjoyment out of that, but do you get more enjoyment out of seeing your daughter progress? And I mean, it's got to make you feel good inside. I mean, there's a rough part where I want to get her, but then you see them, when they do well.
And she craves it herself too.
Exactly.
Come on. It's the best when you see your kids do anything. There's nothing. I mean, obviously, I'm proud when my students do stuff. When it's your child, you're like
totally different.
There's nothing like it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
I
really
agree.
cool.
Well, I got to tell you, man, we've been. This is the first time I actually came out with the Gym Crashers because we have the regular show that we do on Monday, and I think it's pretty cool. You know how you get to come out to the gym, you get to kind of see what it's all about,
That's right.
see the people that he's working with,
In his own element.
Exactly, and showing some technique and stuff like that. So I think it went really well. So for the people listening to us and watching us here on Gym Crashers and Full Contact Fanatics, if they want to come down to Affliction, what's the best day for them to come down and take a class?
Monday through Thursday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. will be your best days. Friday we have open mats from 5 to 6.
There you go. So if you want to come and check it out, Tracy's here. We actually came with a lot of footage, so you can check that out. And I guarantee if you come down here, we also had a good time. I mean,
absolutely.
a lot of people are intimidated,
Yeah.
to come to a gym like that, but it's totally not like that here. Everybody was pretty warm, pretty welcome. Nobody got, the first thing they think is they're going to get killed, especially Josh.
Yeah.
But
He
after
was
you
worried.
saw with the techniques and stuff like
Yeah.
that, I think he got bit by the bug and he's ready to start doing some
I
training.
wouldn't be surprised if we see him again and again.
I agree.
Yeah, we have a good. It's an aggressive room, but there's no egos. Everyone is here to help each other. It's a great environment. Everyone's learning. Like I tell everyone, I'm not the only instructor. If everyone in here helps each other.
Right.
If everyone can teach you something.
Right.
My students teach me things.
Yeah, and we saw it here today. So
Absolutely.
you guys are going to be able to check out the footage. So for Gym Crashers as well as Full Contact Fanatics, Tracy Hess, if you want to come down, check out Affliction Gym. Also, it's Affliction Gym / Sub Fighter still, right?
Yes.
Sub Fighter MMA.
Sub Fighter MMA.
Make sure you come check it out. Robert, we'll take it back to you. Don't forget, Gym Crashers and Full Contact Fanatics, Affliction /
Sub Fighter MMA.
Sub Fighter MMA. All right, Robert, back
Thank
to
you.
you.